Well, welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short story podcast with stories you can basically call sci-fi. I am your sweet boy Adam, and I'm doing the intro this week. I hope you don't mind. We also have...
I'm Todd. Hi.
I'm Jared.
Yes, the three sweet
Also,
boys
hello,
are
I
back
suppose.
this week. Again!
The sweet boys are back in town.
We're here to fill your ears
With
with knowledge.
Fill your ear holes with some lovely noise.
noise that sounds vaguely like a science fiction story.
Yes, minimal grunts.
And vulgarities.
Primarily, but basically as well.
And I don't know about you, but my whole story this week is vulgarity.
Well, my story last week, following the prompt of Apocalypse and Dimensions, was, also 98% rag fucking.
I never curse.
You don't.
Never curse. This
No,
week,
fuck
we're
that shit.
doing Apocalypse and Dementia. So
Dementia.
Dementia.
Did I...
Oh man,
Wait, was it
I
Dementia or
got those
Dimensions?
prompts a little wrong.
We can do that next
There we
time,
go.
though. Oh my god.
That sounds like a fantastic prompt.
This is Adam, the master of telling jokes. He doesn't know if he's telling jokes or not. Wait.
I stumble
was
my way
that-
into comedy.
Was that deliberate?
Was that deliberate?
Yes, that was deliberate.
Okay.
You said Dimensions,
Okay.
and I was like, that sounds like Dementia. I'm gonna make a goof where I thought that I did the wrong prompt. Have you all worry? No.
Oh no, Adam, the prompt was Dimensions.
I forgot about it.
What have you done, you goofball?
Chi.
I suppose the goof still happened, like that went exactly as planned.
Perfectly to plan. So,
And
excuse me,
then
as
I
knock over
eat
the
a
cans in my
potato chip.
And then I eat another potato chip. All right. So, this week I guess, is there anything we want to, any house cleaning things we need to do before we jump into the story?
Maybe just recap the formula. This week it's gonna be you, and then next week we'll do Jared,
Yeah, exactly what he said. I do that. I rolled a 20, so
except-
I do it
except
perfectly.
You do it. You do it perfectly. Go.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So this week is going to be me, and we're doing Apocalypse and Dimensions, of course, not Dementia. That was just a goof. And then next week it's going to be Jared, Apocalypse and Dimensions. Yes.
Yeah, we're taking turns.
Yeah.
It says in my notes 15 dimensions.
Confusing when we all read over the top of each other.
We could all read
15
all three of-
dimensions.
Yeah, I don't know why I wrote 15 on the...
Oh, because 15 is in the order of stories that we've done, it's the 15th prompt that we had.
Oh, see, I wrote about 15 dimensions.
You can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, in my file, it's also titled 15 Dimensions and Apocalypse, but not 15 Dimensions.
Well, that's where the
Oh my
semicolon
God.
comes in.
Is this going to be a battle royale of 15 dimensions versus each other for the right to exist?
Don't get ahead of me now.
Because that's the plot of Dragon Ball.
It's more kind of 15 dimensions collapsing in on each other. It's kind of...
Oh, but it is 15.
Okay. 15 is the perfect number.
It is, and that's also why Dragon Ball used it. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a prime number, I think.
No.
No.
Yeah, definitely. You can't divide 15 by anything
15
except
is
for 15.
divisible by 10, 5,
15 is not
Three.
divisible by 10.
3. Not 10. 5 and 3.
Everything's divisible by 10 if you try. I mean, that's what my
Exactly.
math teacher told me. I mean, I said the same thing. You can't divide that shit by 10. And they're like, do it anyway.
You can always divide some shit by 1. Okay, so in
I'm
that
like-
sense, then
Yeah.
nothing is a prime number.
You were gonna...
No, a prime number is anything divisible by 1 in itself.
A prime number is 18, if you know what I mean.
No, 18 is not a prime number. 17 is.
I think I might have peaked my audio there. Anyway, yeah, so that's the house cleaning for this week. You can expect
Yep.
Jared's story coming up. And I had a suggestion that we could all read all 3 of our stories at the same time over top of each other to, condense the content. I don't know how about you guys feel about that. What do you think?
We talked about this off camera. I already
Yeah.
told you no.
Okay.
I was up for it, but Todd vetoed.
And then the listeners could turn it on as they sleep, and they could absorb all the information all at once, like when you make your baby listen to Metallica when it sleeps. I think that's.
Well, if we were real good, we could set it so that one audio goes into the left speaker, one audio goes into the right, and one goes into surround sound.
One is only in the
Sounds like it's coming
subwoofer.
from behind.
I only want to come out of the sub.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can-
You, the listener, can decide which one sounds better.
You can please vote right now. Press 1 if you want Adam to come out of the subwoofer only. Press 2 if you want Todd's audio to only be treble. Press 3 if you want Jared to come from behind you in surround sound.
Oh my god.
Always gonna come from
He
behind.
just keeps saying things.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna get started.
Which button do I press to make Adam come?
Jesus. Okay, so the title of this week's story is Getting Buck Wild Part 2. That's not a JoJo's reference.
I could dig it. Even though everything is a JoJo's reference.
Putting Part 2 in here really doesn't make it a JoJo's reference. Okay.
Oh, but this is continuing the last story you had with
Yes.
the rocks and magnetism.
The through line with my story is going to be that it's all one continuous story.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
Buck and whatever bullshit he does. But what happened last week for a short
Going
recap?
wild.
Yeah.
Buck was stranded
Sure.
on a planet. Yeah. He met some frog boys, and he got into some hot water, literally, when he dipped his nuts right into that hot water to wash it off. And he offended them greatly.
Oh gosh.
So, we're picking up...
I hope it all works out for him.
Well, we're picking right up right after he dipped his nuts into that hot water. Buck found himself before some seriously huge doors, intricately carved stone. A gong or some shit rang from within and the doors flung forward. Buck was stunned. Blinding, tremendous light hitting his body, washing all over him. The hands of the froggy captain forced him through the doorway. He tried blinking away the discomfort as he stumbled to keep a pace of the froggo. As Buck slowly became accustomed to the light, he could make out rows of froggos, dressed in white robes, each holding a candle, inlaid with gold designs, lining the periphery of a massive marble cavern. Not a single stone had been laid in this room. It seemed to be a natural formation, carved out through the ages by groundwater, and now filled with froggos. Of course, it seems they had taken the liberty of polishing it to perfection. Every surface was smoothed, reflecting the light of 100 candles and torches right into his retina. It was majestic, and anyone would have thought as such, save for Buck, who had laid eyes on a figure at the end of the room. She was humanoid, to be sure,
Ooh.
clad in white and towering above the froggos that flanked her. The air around her could have been cut with a knife. Something deep in his gut turned when he tried to hold the image of the thought of the image of her in his mind.
She's a thought?
Huh?
She's a thought, he said.
She's a thought! No. and he was being shoved along now, rather unceremoniously, towards her. Mere meters away, he stopped. The captain stopped his pushing. He knocked Buzz Lightyear's legs out from under him. Buck fell to his hands and knees. This close, he could see that she was dangerously curvaceous, wearing naught but her shimmering robes that somehow draped from her and clung to her in contrasting ways that made his head swim. She looked upon him with matronly eyes that at once comforted and brooked no disobedience. He tried to recollect how one spoke to such a female, and he failed. "Oh, Holy Mother," he said. "Silence, penis cleanser. You are now before the Holy Mother. Show your respect and don't speak." The captain chided in a whisper.
I thought that was like a colloquialism. That's just something they say on Froggo Planet. I forgot he had... That's why he's in trouble.
That's why he's in trouble. He put his dick in the holy water. It's like going to church and like dipping your nuts into the communion. I mean, you can do it, but
can do, have done.
Can do, Purdue.
Not allowed back.
As long as you believe, right? Okay.
Yep. No doubt.
No need to kneel on ceremony, Arlo. Let the man rise, she said in a voice like glass. The froggy captain seemed reproached, but he pulled Buck up to his feet. "Holy Mother, this is the Skybreaker you wished to see." "I know," she said, holding out her hands, "and thank you for bringing him to me. Skybreaker, you bring tidings of either good or ill, for now I do not know. I can see what will be in some ways, but it seems I cannot see you. You are before me, yet I can only see your past. You intrigue me. I must ask, why do you come to my humble realm?" Humble was far from anything in this room, Buck thought. And she could see his past? "If you can see me past, why do you need me to tell you anything? You can just look for yourself." A man's actions and motivations are quite a different thing. The harder Buck looked at her, the more he couldn't shake a strange feeling, like someone was rubbing his body with the tips of 1,000 feathers. The Holy Mother walked down the steps of the dais towards him, stopping short of running right into him. It was weird. Buck couldn't smell anything. Well, that wasn't entirely true. He could smell the dankness of the froggy captain to his right. He could smell the acrid tallow of the candles, but he couldn't smell her. And Buck made a habit of smelling women.
Man, that joke hit me like some powerful light.
I hope so. He studied her as she studied him. The edges of her body seemed to pull on the very existence around her. It was weird. Where her edge overlapped with the Froggos behind her, they seemed smushed and pulled into her form. That couldn't be right. It's gotta be a trick of the light. Their candlelight made a halo that ringed her form. Like when clouds are backlit by a rising sun. That's it, he thought. Like a cloud. She was like a cloud! "You're not some cloud, are you? I've spent a lot of time studying clouds, I'll have you know. And I'd put my money on you being soft," he said.
Yeah.
The Froggos behind her cringed at this. Buck couldn't fathom why. Clouds are soft. The froggy captain slapped Buck. "First you wash your testicles in our sacred pool, and now you make lewd comments at the Holy Mother. Mother, I beseech you, I don't care what you want from this smooth-skinned Skybreaker, but consider his punishment." "Arlo, I'm far too old to take offense at something as trivial as that." "But Mother!" "Peace, Arlo." And Buck, no, I'm not made of clouds. I'm as real and solid as anything in this room. "Is that so?" He made a bold move to step just a tiny bit closer. "'Cause I've put my hands right through clouds, seeing as they aren't made of nothing."
That's science.
That's real science right up in that shit. "And I'd and I'd bet I could put my whole hand right up in you. The Holy Mother gave him a flat look. Buck could feel something deep inside of himself cringe in a familiar way. Oh no. Was this going to end up like his dad's bachelor party all over again? Absolutely no one dares touch the Holy Mother. The Froggy Captain spat. Mother, this skybreaker goes too far. Buck was onto something, and he couldn't let it go. So, he reached out his hand and put it right inside the Holy Mother's stomach. And right through it. And she let out a wail that shook the very cavern that they stood in, recoiling from his touch. It seems I did go too far. The mother staggered back, eyes raging. The Froggos had jumped into action before she had even let out a command. They grabbed him, held him down. Take him to face the Arbiter's judgment, she wailed as they dragged him from the room. Back on the landing that lined the gorge these Froggos called home, Buck found himself yet again standing before a floating rock. This time, he was stripped of all he owned, save for his shirt and pants.
Oh, good.
You know, Arlo.
We can still animate this scene.
We can still animate the scene, and we don't need any mosaic.
Nope.
What's his voice again? I think it's, you know, Arlo, I hate these things.
Who is this?
Yes. Oh, that's Buck. Buck said.
Oh, that's Buck?
What does Buck sound like? Does Buck sound like me?
I mean, I think he sounds more confident, but not gravelly. He sounded a bit more like you. He sounded more like you and less like every character that I do.
More like a ding-dong. Okay, I'll go for more ding-dong
like
sounding. Hang on. You know, Buck. No. That's me. You know, Arlo. Yeah. I hate these things. Just as you deserve. Step onto the rock, and may you atone for your grievances. You should know that none escape the judgment of our Arbiter. What exactly is this Arbiter, anyway? The Froggy Captain shoved a stone club into Buck's hands and dropped a torch at his feet. It is our custom to trust in the judgment of the earth beneath our feet. You may have these, a club of rock for the rock beneath you, and a torch for the sun overhead. If you're found innocent of evil, you'll live. I hope you don't. Buck picked up the torch and faced the floating rock. This one didn't fly above as the others had done when nothing was on them. It stayed in place, which would have been odd if Buck had known about such things, but instead he looked around, taking in the faces of the Froggos that overflowed from each veranda, each outcropping, each craggy hole cut into the stone skin of the gorge. There must be thousands of them, he thought. Thousands were the biggest accounting of things that he could think of, and the number felt right. He stepped onto the floating rock and descended into the dark. And he went down, down, down. He descended for what seemed like forever. The light of the Froggos' homes above seemed not as stars now. The stone club he'd been given seemed heavier in his hands the further he descended. Eventually, stone clanged on the ground. Buck held out his torch. He could see solid rock beneath him, and he stepped off. The stone disc did not rise as the others had done before. He surveyed his surroundings, taking a few tentative steps out into the dark. It was a lot of rocks. The walls of the gorge narrowed significantly down here, just 5 meters across, and he didn't know what to do. Where was this Arbiter? What, was it the concept of time? Was he meant to stay here until the torch gave out and starve in the dark? He walked further into the dark from his stone disc, picking his way around boulders. There came a grinding noise from behind him. Buck thought turning around was some dumb shit that a character in a horror movie would do. So he decided to not do that and instead run as fast as he could. He broke into a sprint, the sound of rocks crashing into one another from behind. He came to a boulder, too large to go around. It spanned the width of a gorge down here, and he knew he had to climb it. He scrambled to the top, and he could feel air move past him, brushing the back of his neck. He turned. Two green, glowing blobs peered out at him from the darkness, set in a stone the size of a large pig. Buck felt weak at the knees. He didn't want to believe what he was looking at, but evidence overrides the imagination. A stone colossus loomed in the gorge, assembled from boulder, stone, and earth. Large, heavy shoulders, a broad, stocky body, and 4 stumpy legs. And a head that looked like it had been carved in the pits of hell, with green eyes. Incredulous, he stared back. Now that is some buck wild bullshit. And that's the end for this week. I felt like I wanted to leave it like, at a point where like you hear the JoJo music going like dan ticka dan ticka dan ticka dan dan, and that's what I was kind of going for this week. The story ended up being I can't read the whole thing today. So.
Yeah.
But
although I was waiting the whole time. When are the dimensions coming in? But I see what you did there with dimensions.
It gets even more buck wild in a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you what happens next.
He was taking the dimensions of that sexy frog mom, scoping out her dimensions. Yeah.
The cloud lady. I wanted real bad to make a joke about her being wet because she's cloud lady, but I resisted.
You should have. I mean, she's not clouds, and she's not a lady.
No, that's the only reason that I did resist was because she was not actually cloud.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like I could see that's where one of the big twists or reveals was going to be. So I tried not to ask too many questions about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna get lit.
Jump on that soon, really.
It's gonna get lit.
I mean, yeah, he's down there. Is that the Sarlacc pit underneath Jabba's palace? What's that monster called?
Kind of. Well, I mean,
Sarlacc.
Huh?
That would be the
Sarlacc.
The bone grinder. I have no idea.
Oh, under his palace, the Rancor.
Oh, Rancor. Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, I was like, I'm either thinking of the toothy monster in the
Sarlacc
sand.
pit was the hole in the desert.
Yeah.
That later got animated into a worm in the desert.
Yeah, that's the one that what's his name? Fucking Chungus fell into and died like a chump.
Boba Fett.
Yep.
Boba Fett. I liked in your story. I mean, there's the frogs. They have their. I mean, they're speaking English, but they have their own language. There's a lot of, I feel like the main character there was going to be Daenerys there in a second. The mother of dragons, the blah blah blah, the slave freer. He was the sky breaker, penis cleanser, smooth skinned.
Yes. Well, I mean, the frogs are bumpy, and so of course, I don't know why, but like last night I was thinking about Fallout, and I was like, smooth skin. It was like an insult, and I'm like, yeah, that feels right.
Okay, got it. All right, well that's that. So
what'd you think of my goofs?
This one was a lot more goof filled. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. The jokes per minute were way up. I feel like, and that's what I was kind of saying about the skybreaker, smooth-skinned mom groper, that
lady sniffer.
Like you've got your scene set, you've got your characters developed, and now the goofs are rolling.
Yeah, I hope we can keep them rolling.
Yeah, that was very good. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm there with you. I'm in the marble cavern with the light reflecting into my eyes.
With that big titty cloud bitch.
With the big titty cloud mother. Respectable mother.
Respectable. Well, not quite though.
Who you've already spoiled now. You said she's not a woman. And she's not a cloud.
And what is she?
I don't know. We'll have to tune in next time.
Einhorn's a man! No, I'm not going to pull Ace Ventura on you guys. I'm sorry.
And other big movie twists that couldn't happen
Finkel
in
is not
2020.
Einhorn.
There's the twist.
That's Ace Ventura twist. The villain was a man the whole time,
Yeah.
not a woman, despite the
Yep.
titties.
Yeah. Which is a lesson we all learn in college at some point, but
It's a lesson we all learned in Bangkok.
that's an apt name.
Anyway, thank you for joining our podcast this week, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.
Jared's story next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next time, we won't
On.
peak the audio.
All right. I had fun too. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye now.
Bye.